their life start in the south, not in the north. The founder of the Egyptian civilization were the African tribes who settled in the south. I know what I'm saying now. If you study the Egyptian history, it will be a shocking information. No one would like to admit that this great civilization had been done by the African tribes, but that is a fact. Okay? So, the African tribes live in the south. Being a farmer, it teaches them how to cooperate together. No one farmer alone could be easy for him to cultivate and take care of 100 acre of land or 50 acre of land. He need to cooperate with his neighbors. He need to hire some people who are helping him to cultivate the land. One person can take care of a big piece of land. That's why they didn't live individually. They live as groups of people together. And that's what makes them cooperate together, living in a community. When people live in a community, they build a civilization because they need to have houses. So they build the houses. They need to have a storehouses to keep the grain for the next season. They build the storehouses. They need to have security guards just to secure the area. So they got army and police. They need to have a temple to worship their gods. So they build a temple. They need to have a graveyard for their dead people next to the city. That is what creates what we call the Egyptian civilization. And it starts all of it in the south of Egypt. The north of Egypt is completely different because the north of Egypt, it looks like the south of Sudan. It's a low land, not a high one. Low land, and that's why if you take a look at the land of Africa, and Egypt is a part from Africa, it looks like my arm now. The heart of Africa, it is the high altitude part. And that's why the river Nile current way, it comes from the south all the way to the north. So the northern part of Egypt is a lower land. And the Egyptians were very, very smart. When they called their two kingdoms, if you have your guidebook and you read it, it says the south of Egypt, upper kingdom. The north of Egypt, lower kingdom. In your country, when you say up, it's towards to north or south? North. Everywhere in the world, when people saying we are going up, that's meaning they are going north. In Egypt, when we say we're going up, we're going to the south. Because the topography of the land of Egypt, the south is higher than the north. The north of Egypt was a very low land. And this low land was covered with water for 85% of the days of the year. So no one could cultivate the land there unless they are good enough to build a dam to keep the water. So by this way they could dry the land and cultivate it. And that will happen, but not now. We are talking about 5,500 years BC yet. It will happen later, 2,000 years later. People who are living in the north of Egypt, they weren't African tribes. They were in Africa, yes, but they weren't African tribes. They were nomadic Bedouin tribes, came from the northeast of Egypt, the land which is so clearly in the Bible under the name of the land of Canaan, or Canaan. Because those people, sometimes they have famines. Those people are working as Bedouin tribes. They are taking care of livestock, so they move from one place to one place. What we call them travelers. They never settled in one place for a long time. And that is remind us with the people of Israel. When the Israelites came to Egypt, they tell the Egyptian Pharaoh, we are shepherd we are, and we are taking care of livestock. That is their job, that is their life. So they were moving from one place to one place. They settled in the north, but they didn't settle in one place for a long time. So they were moving in the north in circles, searching for water and food supplies. What they do is, they were taking care of livestock, like cattle of sheep, goats, cows, and then when they reach to some place, it has already some grass grow. So they use it, they consume it, they didn't cultivate it, they consume it. When it is finished, they move from this area to a new place. And then let us say they take a circle for 1 year. When they come back again to the same location, the grass grow up back. So they settled in this place back again. So they never settled in one place for a long time. And that's why we call them travelers. And in history, we call them food collectors. They didn't produce food, they collect food. While the people in the south, they were food producers because they grow their food. So they could decide. They have the seed in their hand. If I would like to have beans, I will grow beans. If I would like to have orange, I will plant it orange. But the people of the north, no. They consume what they find because they didn't decide and they didn't do it by themselves. From time to time, we know that the river Nile has a kind of a circle of life. Sometimes it's a very high flood, sometimes it is a middle level flood, and sometimes it's a hydration. No more flood because it depends on the raining season in the heart of Africa. When the northern part of Egypt has no flood, that's meaning a famine. In the south of Egypt, when we have no flood, that's meaning we face a trouble, but we still have the seeds, which we're supposed to use it for the new year cultivation. We could consume it, we could have some food, we will not be starving. But the people of the north, they will be starving. That's why from time to time, when a famine happened, they came to the south and attacked the south. And they take some food supplies from the south. That's why the people of the south, they were considered the people of the north as enemy. And they had to protect the border against them. And that's why there is a conflict between the two kingdoms for a very long time of period. People in the south, they need to find someone to trust him. A good gentleman. People trust him to be the chief of the group of people and the community who are living in each area. By this way, the development a way of management, choosing a chief. They trust him to make the schedule of the work. Today, who will prepare the land? Who will dig the canal? Who will put the seeds under the ground? Who will take care of the harvest? Who will be the security guard? Who will be the night watch to take care of the land and the area? So everyone has a job in the South community. But everyone, when he has a job, he had to get a salary. So when they got the whole harvest, they didn't use it. They give it to the man they trust, in his trust. And he is the one who give salary to each one who is working, up to his job and up to how many days he worked. And by this way, we have a very good community had been established in the south of Egypt. This man they trust, which is became the beginning of having a king ruling the south. While in the north, the situation were different. In the north, the situation, they were travelers moving from one place to one place. So they live individually, not in a community. Each family or each tribe moved together. And each tribe was afraid of the other tribes. So from time to time, they have a fight between each tribe and the other one. So when the people of the south, they would like to choose a chief, or they would like to choose a king, he had to be a wise, beloved king. Wise person, so they could respect him. And a beloved one, they trust him to give him the food supplies and trust him to make the schedule of the work. While the people of the north, when they choose someone, they need to choose a very powerful warrior and soldier. So he could protect them and he could save the territory against any invasion of any other tribe. That's why the people of the south were very peaceful people. People of the north, they were savage. The savage people of the north, they were attacking the south from time to time. Until, for a long period, until a period of time we called it the beginning of the real Egyptian civilization, which we called it Pharaonic civilization. And here we need to make a difference between an ancient Egyptian civilization and a Pharaonic civilization. What we cross it now, it is a graveyard, the modern cemetery of the people who are living in Giza. The area where our hotel is the provinces, we call it Giza. And we have no much spaces to bury our beloved people next to our homes. So we came back to the desert here, and that is the cemetery or the graveyard, the modern cemetery of the people who are living in Giza nowadays. And it's a modern one, related back only to 35, 40 years ago. It wasn't exist before that time. Under the ground. We will talk about that when we visit the tombs tomorrow, because we still use the same design of the tombs from the ancient pharaonic time till today. Even now, the community of Egypt, either Muslim or Christian, have a different way of burying people, but we still use the ancient Egyptian tradition. In Giza, we have over 9 million people living there. And by the way, they are both sides. So we have cemetery for Muslims next to the cemetery of the Christian. No problem at all. We believe there is only one life and there is only one heaven. Who will go to heaven? It's in his hand. But we are living together and we die together. By the time of 3,200 years BC, 3,200 years BC, we have a very great king in the south of Egypt. For the first time, he raised an army from the farmers who are a very peaceful people. And here it is something so amazing. In different history and different people and different mentality of people, usually we have the savage people or the warriors who are always attacking each other. But when someone train and raise an army from the peaceful people and give them weapons and train them very well, they became a very well organized army, and they usually won every battle. Because from the beginning they are well organized people. They know how to live in a discipline because they have everything in a certain time. They put the seeds in a certain time. They dig the canals in a certain time. They do the irrigation in a certain time. And they are usually trusting one person who tells them to do that now and do that now. So deep inside them, they got this kind of discipline mentality. And that is helping any general or any army leader to lead them right. They got it already deep inside them. And that's what happened when we have a great king came over the throne of Egypt 3,200 years BC. Keep this date in your mind, because that is the beginning of what we called it the pharaonic civilization. 3,200 years BC.
How do you spell pharaonic?
Pharaonic. Pharaonic civilization. It comes from the name Pharaoh. Those are the gates of the toll road, the toll station. So, the ancient Egyptian people who are living in the south, for the first time, they fed up. They will not wait for another invasion from the north to attack them. So they decided to go and attack the north. For the first time, the southern people will go to attack the north. So we have an army going for marching. There is no way of transportation in that time. They are marching from the south to the north, which is 420-mile distance, carrying their weapons in their hands, and they attack the northern capital. And they succeed to kill the northern king. And they occupied the north. And when they occupied the north, they decided that it's not an occupation, it is a unification. So what they would like to do is teaching the people of the north how to be civilized people, and changing them from being savage, from being Bedouin, from being nomadic, to become farmers, peaceful, civilized people. The best way to do that is to teach them how to cultivate the land. That's why 3,200 years BC, the king, he dig a canal from the river Nile in the desert. And this canal, he transfers the direction of the water of the river Nile and build a dam over the river Nile. So by this way he could control the flood, and by this way he could dry the northern part of Egypt, make the land dry, no more flood, and by this way he could cultivate it. And teaching the Bedouin people how to become farmers. Let them living in community, and each community, to gathered people surrounding and settled in this place, they build houses for them, and they build for them temples. And each temple attached was two different things: a school and a pharmacy and a clinic. So by this way, the new generation go to the school, which is attached to the temple. And by this way, the people of the south, they are the high priestess, teaching them everything and playing with their minds and monopoly them and changing them. If the elder people, they will not go to join the school, they are old enough, but no one didn't feel sick one day. No one had a trouble one day. So when they feel sick, when they have a trouble, when they have one of the wild insect and wild animals beating them, they go to the pharmacy, they go to the clinic, and while they are in the clinic, they teach them. It takes 400 years, and that is showing us how patient are the people of the south. 400 years to change the mentality of the people of the north. And after 400 years, we got what we called it the United Kingdom of Egypt. North and south together, both of them they believing in the same God, both of them they cultivate the land, both of them they are well civilized people. But there is something is genetic you can't change. People of the north who were savage for thousands of years, they got their own heritage, and from time to time they would like to get independence. Now they know how to cultivate the land, now they know how to build houses, now they know how to dig canals, now they know everything. They got all the knowledge, if we could say so. So why we still following the king of the south? We are better than him. We are fair skin and he is dark skin. We are Bedouin and tribes and independent, and they are very peaceful people. We are having our ego and our dignity, so we will not follow him. So they start to make a trouble. That's why the southern people who teach them